Imagine waking up one morning to the sound of sirens blaring across your city. The news flashes across every screen. A national disaster is unfolding. Perhaps it's a catastrophic blackout leaving millions without power, a massive hurricane tearing through coastal regions, or a sudden earthquake collapsing buildings in urban centers. The question you might not want to ask yourself, but desperately should, is, would you survive if this happened today? Your family, your home, your very life could be at risk within hours, and the clock is already ticking. Most people assume that help will arrive in time, that authorities will provide support, and that they'll somehow manage to get through the worst. But history and countless survival accounts show the harsh truth. In times of extreme disaster, those who rely solely on hope are the ones who fail. Survival isn't about luck. It's about preparation, strategy, and mindset. It's about understanding the real threats that can hit at any moment. Let's take a look at urban collapse first. Imagine a massive power grid failure that knocks out electricity for weeks. Traffic lights are dead, communication networks fail, and grocery store shelves empty within hours. Water stops flowing, and the temperature in your apartment starts to drop. Families are forced to make impossible decisions. Do you stay and risk scarcity, or attempt to travel through chaotic streets to find resources elsewhere? In such scenarios, survival hinges on three factors: your knowledge, your gear, and your ability to act decisively under pressure. Knowing how to purify water, store food, generate power, and defend your household can mean the difference between life and death. And this isn't hypothetical. These events have happened before in New York, Puerto Rico, and other major cities. Now let's shift to the wilderness scenario. A sudden natural disaster could force you and your loved ones into rural or forested areas. Perhaps a massive flood or wildfire forces evacuation from urban centers. Here, the threats multiply. Exposure to the elements, limited access to food and water, dangerous wildlife, and navigation challenges. Without knowledge of building shelters, starting fires without modern tools, or identifying edible plants, the wilderness quickly becomes deadly. Survival skills are your lifeline. Constructing a secure shelter, signaling for help, and rationing supplies aren't optional, they're necessary. History provides countless examples of people who survived for weeks in the wild through skill and resourcefulness, while others perished due to lack of planning. You may be thinking, I don't live in a high-risk area. This won't happen to me. But disasters are indiscriminate. Hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and even national emergencies like pandemics or blackouts can strike anywhere. The reality is uncomfortable. Your comfort today doesn't guarantee your survival tomorrow. And the most dangerous mindset of all is complacency, the belief that someone else will take care of it. Every moment you delay preparing, you increase the risk for yourself and your family. So, what steps can you take right now? First, assess your home and environment for vulnerabilities. Do you have access to clean water and sufficient food supplies? Can you generate heat or power if the grid fails? Do you have basic first aid knowledge and supplies? Second, create a plan. Map out evacuation routes, safe zones, and meeting points for your family. Consider both urban and wilderness scenarios. What works in the city may not work in the forest and vice versa. Third, invest in your skills. Practice fire making, water purification, navigation, and shelter construction. These are not hobbies, they're essential survival tools. Finally, commit. Survival is as much about mindset as it is about resources. When disaster strikes, hesitation kills. Every decision matters, and every day counts. Imagine the tension of a city street with no traffic control, stores stripped bare, neighbors panicking, or the isolation of a flooded forest with only a small kit of supplies and your knowledge of the land to rely on. These scenarios aren't made up. They are real possibilities, and people face them every day. The difference between those who survive and those who don't is preparation and action. Now, as we move forward, I want you to ask yourself, are you truly ready if disaster strikes tomorrow? Because the reality is harsh, and the clock is ticking. Don't wait for a sign. Use this moment to start building your survival strategy. If you're serious about protecting your family, you need to act today. As the hours tick by after a disaster strikes, the reality becomes even more brutal. Streets you once navigated easily become a chaotic maze of abandoned vehicles, panicked people, and hazards you never imagined. Power is still out, water is scarce, and communication with the outside world is non-existent. In these first critical hours, your ability to make fast, decisive decisions will determine survival. Imagine standing at the intersection of your neighborhood, witnessing looters scouring homes, fires breaking out, and sirens long gone silent. What would you do? Do you stay and defend what little you have, risking confrontation? Or do you attempt to move, navigating a dangerous urban jungle? Every choice carries weight. Every hesitation could cost lives, not just yours, but your family's. Meanwhile, in rural or wilderness settings, time is equally unforgiving. You might be stranded with only the supplies in your backpack, miles away from civilization. Rain begins to fall heavily, soaking your shelter, chilling your body, and forcing you to make tough decisions. Should you risk moving to find safer terrain or stay put and improve your temporary shelter? Wilderness survival is a test of skill and endurance, where knowledge of edible plants, clean water sources, fire starting methods, and safe sleeping arrangements becomes the difference between life and death. Survival isn't just physical, it's mental. Fear and stress are constant companions, capable of clouding judgment, slowing reactions, and eroding morale. In urban collapse scenarios, you must stay alert, constantly scanning for threats, improvising solutions, and protecting your loved ones. In the wilderness, your mind will battle isolation, uncertainty, and the relentless pressure of the elements. Those who survive are not always the strongest. They are the most adaptable, the most aware, and the most committed to taking action. Let's consider practical actions you can implement immediately. In the city, secure your home with simple but effective measures. Reinforce doors and windows. Stockpile water and non-perishable food. Maintain a small medical kit, and establish clear communication plans with your family. Know your surroundings, identify escape routes, and have multiple plans depending on the type of disaster. Carry essential tools that serve multiple purposes: flashlights, knives, fire-starting kits, portable chargers, and signaling devices. In wilderness scenarios, every resource must be maximized. Learn how to collect and purify water from streams, lakes, or rain. Build shelters that can withstand wind, rain, or snow. Understand how to safely navigate terrain and avoid dangerous wildlife. Your backpack is not just a collection of items, it's your lifeline. Every item must have a purpose, and you must know how to use it under pressure. Practice these skills regularly, because in a real emergency, instinct alone is rarely enough. Now, let's talk about people. Disaster brings out extremes in human behavior. Some become cooperative and helpful. Others may turn violent or selfish. Understanding human psychology during crises is crucial. You need to be able to read situations quickly, anticipate threats, and protect yourself and your family without unnecessary confrontation. Sometimes the difference between life and death isn't just survival skills, it's judgment, awareness, and the ability to make hard decisions in seconds. Imagine this scenario. You're navigating a partially flooded urban area. Water is rising faster than expected, streets are blocked, and your only route passes through a neighborhood teeming with panicked people. You have your family with you, and every second counts. Do you risk moving through chaos or try to fortify a nearby building? The tension is real, and your preparation will dictate the outcome. These situations are not hypothetical. They mirror events that have occurred in disasters worldwide, from hurricanes to earthquakes to grid failures. Now shift to the wilderness. A sudden wildfire spreads across your path, forcing you to abandon your carefully prepared camp. Smoke fills the air, visibility is low, and navigation becomes hazardous. You must decide immediately whether to climb to higher ground, move parallel to the fire, or seek shelter. Every choice carries risk. The knowledge you have, the decisions you make, and your ability to remain calm under pressure determine whether you survive or become another tragic statistic. And here's the key takeaway for both settings. Preparation is your lifeline, but adaptability is your survival strategy. Those who survive are not merely well-equipped. They are mentally prepared, decisive, and relentless in their commitment. Tools, plans, and kits are essential, but they must be accompanied by discipline, situational awareness, and a willingness to act decisively when everything is at stake. By now, the picture is clear. Disasters are indiscriminate, unforgiving, and capable of striking at any moment. But awareness alone isn't enough. Survival requires action, preparation, and daily habits that build resilience over time. Let's break down specific, practical steps you and your family can take to survive both urban and wilderness scenarios. First, water. Without it, survival is measured in days. In the city, store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 2 weeks. But don't stop there. Learn to purify water from taps, rain, or nearby rivers using portable filters, boiling, or chemical tablets. In the wilderness, locate potential water sources ahead of time. Know how to collect rainwater and always carry a backup filtration method. Practice these skills so you can perform them under pressure without panic. Food is next. Stock non-perishable items like canned goods, dried fruits, nuts, and protein bars. Rotate your stock regularly so nothing expires. But also practice foraging and hunting techniques. Learn which wild plants are safe to eat, how to trap small game, or how to fish if stranded near a river. In urban settings, know which stores, rooftops, or storage areas may hold supplies if local access fails. In both scenarios, rationing is key. Consume strategically to ensure your stock lasts as long as possible. Shelter and safety cannot be overstated. In the city, identify secure rooms or buildings where your family can hunker down. Reinforce doors and windows if possible, and keep emergency tools within reach. Crowbars, fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and multi-purpose tools. In the wilderness, practice building temporary shelters using tarps, paracord, and natural materials. Learn to insulate yourself from cold or heat and create secure sleeping areas elevated from the ground to avoid animals and moisture. Lighting and energy are critical. Flashlights, headlamps, and lanterns are essential, but also invest in solar chargers, power banks, and hand crank generators. Knowing how to maintain a small energy supply can keep your devices, radios, and lights operational when the grid fails. In a wilderness setting, practice creating fire using multiple methods: matches, lighters, flint, or friction techniques. Fire isn't just warmth, it's signaling, protection, and a tool to purify water. Communication is often overlooked. In urban collapses, mobile networks may be down. Learn to use walkie-talkies, ham radios, or signal mirrors. Pre-arrange communication plans with your family: where to meet, how to signal, and what routes to take if separated. Wilderness survival demands similar preparation. Establish visual or audible signals, mark trails, and always have a contingency plan. Defense is another practical necessity. In urban disasters, avoid unnecessary confrontations, but prepare to protect your home and family. Know basic self-defense, create barriers, and have escape plans ready. In the wilderness, awareness of wildlife, dangerous terrain, and natural hazards is essential. Practice situational awareness constantly. Observe, assess, and adapt to threats immediately. Health and first aid are crucial. Stock first aid kits that include bandages, antiseptics, painkillers, and any prescription medications. Learn how to treat injuries, perform CPR, and recognize symptoms of dehydration, hypothermia, or heat stroke. In the wilderness, knowledge of medicinal plants, hygiene, and injury prevention can literally save lives. Now let's talk routine and habit. Preparation is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. Conduct regular drills with your family. Practice evacuation routes, test your equipment, rotate supplies, and rehearse urban and wilderness survival scenarios. The more familiar you are with your plans and tools, the less panic will dictate your actions in a real disaster. Imagine a scenario where a sudden flood hits your neighborhood. You have 72 hours worth of water, a portable water filter, non-perishable food, and a communication plan. You move your family safely to higher ground, secure shelter, and maintain situational awareness. Every item you prepared, every drill you practiced becomes a lifeline. Compare that to someone with no plan. They are exposed, scrambling, and making decisions under extreme stress. The difference is stark and entirely within your control. Even in the wilderness, preparation pays. Picture yourself trapped after a wildfire, forces evacuation into dense forest. You know the terrain, have a water source mapped, a lightweight shelter prepared, fire-starting tools ready, and food rationed. You navigate carefully, signal for help, and manage risks effectively. Those skills and actions are what separate survival from tragedy. The moment disaster strikes, the environment transforms into a testing ground for your survival skills. Imagine a citywide blackout that lasts not hours but days, stretching into a full week. Traffic systems collapse, communication networks fail entirely, and emergency services become overwhelmed. Grocery stores are empty, gas stations are closed, and panic spreads like wildfire. In this scenario, your preparedness and decisive actions are no longer optional. They are critical. Start by prioritizing immediate safety. Lock your doors, assess your surroundings, and identify secure locations within your home. Gather your family and review the emergency plan you've practiced in advance. Know who is responsible for each task, whether it's rationing food, managing water, or securing the property. Water becomes your first priority. Without access to clean water, dehydration can set in within 24 to 48 hours, weakening decision-making and survival capacity. In an urban setting, locate every potential source. bottled water in your stockpile, water heaters, bathroom tanks, non-toxic, and even rain collection systems on balconies or rooftops. Use portable water filters, boiling, or purification tablets to ensure safety. In wilderness scenarios, identify streams, rivers, or ponds. Always have a backup filtration method and a container to transport water efficiently. Practice these steps now so they become instinctive when stress is highest. Food management is the next pillar. A combination of stockpiling and tactical rationing can extend survival for weeks. In the city, organize food by expiration dates and nutritional value. Include high-calorie, non-perishable items such as canned meats, dried legumes, rice, and energy bars. In the wild, learn to forage edible plants, trap small game, and fish if possible. Practice these techniques before disaster strikes, so the knowledge is ready when needed. Shelter and warmth are essential. In urban collapse, identify rooms with the least exposure to windows or external threats. Reinforce doors with improvised barriers, block potential entry points, and create a secure perimeter. Wilderness survival demands building or finding effective shelters. Insulated tents, lean-tos, debris huts, or tarps elevated from damp ground. Protecting against the elements is critical, as exposure can incapacitate even the strongest individuals. Fire is more than comfort, it is survival. In urban scenarios, fire can provide warmth, cooking capability, and a signal for help. Keep multiple ignition methods at hand: matches, lighters, ferro rods, and even improvised friction techniques. In the wild, fire management requires skill. Controlling wind, fuel, and smoke is essential. Fire is also a deterrent to predators and an emergency signaling method. Practice fire making under different conditions to ensure competence. Security cannot be ignored. In urban chaos, opportunistic individuals may attempt theft or violence. Establish safe zones within your home, train family members in basic self-defense, and set up early warning systems. Wilderness threats include wildlife, natural hazards, and potential encounters with other humans who may be desperate. Constant situational awareness is necessary. Observe, assess, and act quickly to neutralize threats. Health maintenance is equally crucial. Urban disasters can lead to disease outbreaks, injuries, and stress-related conditions. Wilderness settings add the risk of hypothermia, heat exhaustion, infections, and venomous bites. Maintain a well-stocked medical kit and learn how to use each item effectively. Know basic first aid, CPR, and the signs of critical conditions that require immediate intervention. Hygiene is often overlooked, but is vital to prevent disease spread. Now let's consider mobility. In urban collapse, staying mobile is critical when conditions worsen. Plan multiple evacuation routes, taking note of potential hazards like blocked streets, collapsed infrastructure, or hostile groups. Have a grab-and-go bag ready for each family member, including essentials: water, food, first aid, tools, clothing, and communication devices. In the wilderness, mobility can mean navigating dense forests, mountains, or rivers. Master map reading, compass use, GPS backups, and natural navigation techniques. Communication strategies are pivotal. In urban disasters, mobile networks may fail entirely. Walkie-talkies, ham radios, signal mirrors, and pre-arranged visual signals can maintain family coordination. In wilderness survival, establishing signals for search and rescue, such as fires, flags, or markings, is essential. Practice using these systems in normal conditions so you are confident under pressure. Finally, mental resilience is the foundation of survival. Extreme conditions test your mind as much as your body. Stress, fear, and uncertainty can paralyze decision-making. Train yourself to remain calm, focused, and adaptable. Break problems into small, manageable steps and tackle them one at a time. Teach your family to stay positive, cooperative, and disciplined under duress. Remember, panic kills. Discipline saves lives. Imagine this: a city plunged into darkness for 7 days. You and your family have water, food, a secure shelter, communication methods, and medical preparedness. You navigate streets carefully, avoid hazards, and maintain situational awareness. Meanwhile, another family without preparation wanders helplessly, exposed to crime, starvation, and panic. In the wilderness, the difference is equally stark. Trained survivors can traverse dangerous terrain, procure resources, and signal for rescue, while the unprepared face exposure, injury, and despair. When disaster escalates, staying put may no longer be an option. The city you once called home can become a trap. Roads blocked, looters roaming, and basic services non-existent. The question arises: How do you evacuate safely while protecting your family and resources? Evacuation is not just movement. It is a strategic operation that requires planning, preparation, and decisive action. First, preparation is everything. Identify multiple exit routes from your neighborhood, noting streets prone to flooding, collapsed structures, or high-risk areas. Know alternative pathways such as alleys, pedestrian bridges, or service roads. Mark safe zones along the way, friends' homes, community centers, or previously scouted shelters. Your goal is to have options, not a single rigid plan, because chaos rarely follows your expectations. Grab-and-go bags become indispensable. Each family member should have one containing essentials for at least 72 hours. Water, food, first aid supplies, flashlights, portable chargers, multi-purpose tools, warm clothing, and copies of important documents. In urban scenarios, add items like face masks, gloves, and cash, since ATMs and credit systems may fail. In wilderness evacuations, backpacks must include navigation tools, fire starting methods, compact shelters, and emergency signaling devices. Practice moving with these bags regularly so that carrying them under stress is second nature. Timing is critical. Observe patterns in the chaos around you. Avoid peak congestion, looting hotspots, or areas with aggressive individuals. Move in small, manageable groups if possible. Establish communication signals with family members, whistles, lights, or prearranged verbal cues. The faster and more organized your group, the higher the chance of a safe evacuation. In wilderness evacuation, terrain awareness is paramount. Mountains, rivers, dense forests, or flooded plains can be deadly without knowledge. Use maps and GPS devices, but also rely on natural navigation, sun position, star constellations, and landmarks. When traveling on foot, pace yourself, take regular hydration breaks, and set temporary safe zones to rest and reassess the route. Avoid unnecessary exposure to extreme conditions and wildlife. Urban threats differ but are equally dangerous. Panic spreads fast, and unprepared individuals can become aggressive or desperate. Maintain situational awareness at all times. Avoid drawing attention, keep a low profile, and move deliberately. Use obstacles to your advantage, walls, fences, or vehicles, to shield movement if necessary. Avoid confrontation unless absolutely required. Remember, survival is about preserving life, not engaging in unnecessary conflict. Health during evacuation cannot be neglected. Fatigue, dehydration, and minor injuries compound quickly. Carry basic medical supplies and know how to use them efficiently. In urban escapes, anticipate exposure to unsanitary conditions, broken glass, or contaminated water. In wilderness movement, watch for hypothermia, insect-borne illnesses, and sprains. Regularly check the health of all group members and address small issues before they escalate. Fire and signaling remain vital. During evacuation, you may need to signal rescuers or communicate with other group members. Urban signals can include reflective surfaces, flashlights, or sound-based alerts. In the wilderness, fires can signal your location, while brightly colored cloth, whistles, and mirrors attract attention. Knowing how to use these signals effectively can make the difference between being found quickly or being lost for days. Decision-making under pressure is tested at every step. Should you risk crossing a partially flooded street or take a longer, safer route? Should you rest in a visible but safer location, or keep moving to avoid potential threats? Each choice carries consequences, and hesitation can be fatal. Mental resilience, prior preparation, and experience guide these split-second decisions. Now imagine the scenario. Your family is moving through a city grid in chaos. Looters are nearby, water and food are scarce, and communication is intermittent. You've planned multiple routes, each with contingencies. Your grab-and-go bags are packed and balanced, ready for long travel on foot if vehicles fail. You navigate alleyways, avoid hotspots, and maintain coordination with your family using prearranged signals. Every decision is deliberate, every movement calculated. Contrast this with an unprepared group scrambling without plan. They are exposed, vulnerable, and reacting rather than acting. Wilderness evacuations bring their own extreme challenges. Floods, wildfires, or earthquakes can isolate you from civilization. Terrain is unpredictable, resources are limited, and wildlife can pose serious threats. Survival depends on skill, knowledge, and discipline. You must ration food and water, manage fatigue, construct emergency shelters, and maintain constant vigilance. Any lapse can result in injury, disorientation, or worse. The wilderness does not forgive mistakes, but preparation and experience give you the edge. As you consider your own readiness, ask yourself, do you have multiple evacuation routes? Are your grab-and-go bags fully equipped? Have you practiced moving under stress? both in urban and wilderness scenarios. These are not theoretical exercises. They are essential actions for survival. You've survived the initial chaos, navigated streets in turmoil, and faced the wilderness with limited resources. But survival is far from over. The final stage tests endurance, adaptability, and mental fortitude. The reality is stark. The world remains unpredictable and threats do not pause for you. To secure your family's safety, you must embrace advanced survival strategies, maintain discipline, and make every decision count. First, establish long-term resource management. Water and food will continue to be scarce. Rotate supplies, create backup caches in safe locations, and learn to harvest and purify water from multiple sources. In the wilderness, expand your survival perimeter. Identify natural shelters, find sustainable water sources, and hunt or forage strategically. Develop a daily routine for rationing, ensuring that energy is preserved for critical tasks. This is not convenience, it is survival. Security escalates in importance. Urban environments may become lawless for extended periods. Establish strong defensive positions in safe zones, maintain vigilance, and avoid predictable routines that could expose your location. Wilderness survival also requires constant awareness. Mark your territory discreetly, avoid overexposure, and use natural camouflage. Understand that danger can come from humans, animals, or environmental hazards, and always plan contingencies. Mindset is the invisible weapon of survival. The most prepared individuals fail not because they lack tools, but because fear, indecision, or fatigue overwhelm them. Train your mind to stay calm, analyze threats, and act decisively. Stress inoculation techniques, simulated scenarios, timed drills, and controlled exposure to stressful conditions build resilience and reduce panic when real crises occur. Teach your family to respond calmly and efficiently. Survival is a team effort and cohesion is vital. In urban collapse, mobility remains essential. Roads may remain blocked, public transport unreliable, and resources concentrated in dangerous areas. Have a hierarchy of options: primary, secondary, and tertiary routes, each with known safe zones. Vehicles may fail. Walking with grab-and-go bags is likely. Map evacuation points ahead of time and practice navigating them under pressure. Communication remains critical. Maintain visual, auditory, and digital backups where possible. Wilderness survival presents challenges that compound over time: exposure, injury, limited food, and isolation. Practice shelter rotation, moving from one temporary location to another to avoid hazards, conserve resources, or evade threats. Maintain a constant fire, both for warmth and signaling. Signal for rescue at optimal times, daylight for visibility, night for controlled light. Be ready to adapt at every turn. Medical preparedness can no longer be reactive. It must be proactive. Treat minor injuries immediately to prevent infection. Monitor hydration and nutrition closely. Understand signs of severe conditions such as hypothermia, hyperthermia, or shock. Stock advanced medical supplies, splints, antibiotics if legally available, wound care kits, and portable sanitation tools. Knowledge and pre-practice of first aid saves lives when professional help is unavailable. Communication networks may remain unreliable for extended periods. Use alternative strategies: pre-arranged meeting points, signal fires, mirrors, whistles, or coded visual cues. Maintain situational awareness, track other group members, and stay vigilant. The inability to communicate is not an excuse. It is a challenge to be overcome with planning and ingenuity. Now consider psychological resilience. Prolonged crises can erode morale. Create routines that instill normalcy, scheduled meals, assigned duties, and skill practice. Celebrate small victories to maintain motivation. Teach family members to stay focused, cooperative, and disciplined. Mental strength underpins all survival efforts. Without it, even the best prepared individuals falter. Finally, reflect on commitment to action. Survival is not passive. Each choice, each action, each skill practiced increases your chance of success. Avoid complacency. Every drill, every preparation, every strategic move builds a safety net. If disaster strikes tomorrow, will you be ready to act decisively, protect your loved ones, and navigate chaos successfully? Here's the most important part. If you subscribe to this channel, the next videos will guide you step by step, teaching in detail every single topic covered in this video, so you and your family can truly survive. Don't miss out. Like, comment, and share this video with anyone who cares about survival. The upcoming videos are critical, and you won't want to face a disaster unprepared. Remember, the world is unpredictable. But your preparedness, commitment, and action give you the edge to survive, protect your family, and thrive even in the most extreme conditions. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and keep learning.